You got mail. Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next hour, along with Gal.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. And Katie's here.
Morning.
Morning. And Spence is here.
Aloha.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Sorry about the late start. I just wanted to adjust the microphone, and I turned the knob,
And it broke.
and it didn't break. It just it stripped the
Ooh.
thing, so the mic just fall down. So I had to go and cannibalize one from another, but it's okay now. Since it's doing this, I think I'm going to put a nut on this side of the.
There's already a nut behind the microphone.
Yeah, I know. A big nut, an idiot.
Yeah. No, just a nut.
Yeah, no, it's an idiot. It's
Nut,
a streaming
nut is
idiot.
okay. It can be a nut and
So, what's happening?
I've had an experience I didn't have in a long time. I've actually installed a computer yesterday, like from scratch. Family in Israel, they bought a new computer. I told them do not pay for the OS because they sell their full price, and bought a cheap OS key and helped them install it. So went through the entire installation, BIOS setup and everything. Like they sat down with the their cell phone, looking at the screen. I had it open over here. Go there. I took a screenshot. Go there. I took a screenshot. Made sure all of the settings are okay. Installed Windows 11. And then installed remote control software, and then took over and spent a few hours customizing the OS. And I gotta say,
how was the response time?
oh, the response time was terrific. It's never been an issue. I'm doing remote support with family in Israel for years now. I gotta say, Windows 11 setup for the layman, right? For somebody who doesn't care too much about the experience, doesn't have too many requirements up front, and is okay using the OS as is. It's pretty straightforward, very simple, very streamlined, not too confusing, right? As compared to past experiences. And one of the nice things is, if you are subscribing to the whole experience and you're logging in with a Microsoft account that you created and all that, it's not that dissimilar, right? Than what we get on phones today, where everything is synchronized through an account, and suddenly all of the applications, at least their icons, are on the new desktop or the taskbar, or wherever they were in the other machine. The customization of the OS has transferred as well. And while those icons are for the apps, when you click them the first time, it goes through the installation. And I find that very, very like comforting, right? It's like the other side doesn't necessarily need to have me there to help them through this if they wanted to go at it on their own, right? There are a few issues though, right? these applications by default, the way they install by default are so sinister in the amount of data they're tracking, right? The unnecessary data they are tracking. Like, why in the hell would I allow location services on a desktop? Right? Why?
Well,
Why?
if the geographic center of the Earth shifts and all the compasses are thrown off,
Exactly. It's
you'll
like,
have to know.
come on, people. Like, at least by default, have it switched off, right? If it's a laptop and you think, yeah, that there might be a need for that, maybe you'll switch it on. But I still don't see. Even with a laptop, I would not trust locate me, right? Because it'll be IP based anyway. So come on, it's like something feels really, really off there. Anyway, good experience overall. I had one very bizarre part though. So when I install the OS, I install it without a product key at the beginning. I provide the product key only when I'm ready to activate it.
Mhm.
And uh, and something about that, I use Winget command line, which is installed on Windows 11 from the get go. It's there. Everything should work. And the first piece of software that I want to install was the remote control application. I use Rustdesk, and I'm typing Winget install Rustdesk, and Winget fails, right? And the bizarre part of that is I had to stop it at that point. I actually installed Rustdesk remotely and then try to focus on fixing Winget. But I had to stop and leave. Came back 2 hours later, Winget works. Like, what the hell? What happened? And no matter what I do, I searched for solutions online. It's like there was, and Winget is an open source developed uh, uh, um, part of the product. It's developed on a GitHub um, repository with issues tracking publicly and pull request and all that. So there should be a lot more detail, background detail into why something is happening when something is happening, what the error means, and all that. And I couldn't get a clear answer, and suddenly it fixed itself. So it's like I don't even know what is that is, and I can't even investigate it further. Very bizarre. But overall, the experience was pretty straightforward. I installed, I think, everything I needed by the end of the day, and um, probably spent 3 to 4 hours. That's on the installation stuff, and that's because I have a specific set of tools that I want a computer that I support to have there. Um, but yeah, it's not so bad. I think Windows XP, I would have spent 2 days, 3 days setting it up just right. Right. So we're in a better place.
Nice.
Yep.
As long as it worked at the end, that means, yeah, I mean, you learned
No, I
something
mean,
from the
I left it
experience.
working. I hope it, it still works today. I told them, test it out. Let me know. It's for a teenager, a 17-year-old teenager. So uh, they're going to be very demanding.
So was
Well,
it similar to config.sys and autoexec.back? That
I think
remember
less
those days?
technical, much more complex.
Yeah. Oh, we thought that was complex.
Yeah,
Sit
that
there
was
and
just
make,
technical. It wasn't complex. It was never complex. It was just technical,
yeah.
right? Yeah. What are all of these symbols and stuff, right? But yeah,
but it
Mm.
worked.
yeah. And one of the things that makes this process really, really easy is a tool that I've mentioned in the past. Is the UI for Winget, which is a separate project. It's not a Microsoft project or anything, but just like the Windows Store is there to search for applications and just click and install, right? Which is the paradigm that they took from the phone apps stores. Is the it's called UniGet UI, It used to be called WinGet UI. Now it's called UniGet UI, and it manages multiple app stores. Basically, it manages everything you can get through WinGet, but it also manages stuff from Scoop Installer and Chocolatey and a bunch of others. You know, like the PowerShell modules in the background and all that. And so it just gives you a very, very nice UI to work with. You don't need to remember a lot of command line switches and stuff. And you get to search for the software that you know you want, and you get the options and say, yeah, install that one. The nice thing about that is once you install it that way, you will also be notified about updates. And if something is updated, all you need to say, yeah, let's update that. And if there's errors, then you get a log, and it'll be clear about uh, what are your options. So finally, managing an installation like this is just going through a checklist and not needing that checklist to include all of the URLs and all of okay, which site am I taking that from? No, it's just a single UI. And apart from, I think, 3 pieces of software that UI cannot cover for one reason, Office, for example, it can't download Office for you, but you can get it installed, and that's handled. The updates are handled by the OS, so that's fine, right? But and a few other stuff. So that was a very, very easy process, right? Very, very clean process.
Very
So
nice.
definitely, I recommend installing UniGet UI as one of the first applications that you install, and then go through that and work through it. Yep.
And you
So
didn't get a call. You
that was
didn't
my
get a
day
call
yesterday.
yet.
For what?
Something is not working.
Oh no.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, well,
And
that's
they
good.
had it's like it's afternoon now over there, and this was ready probably 5-6 a.m. their time. So I am sure school isn't in yet, right? So I am sure that he's already on that machine.
Yeah. All right. On the same, and that was Windows 11, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're on Windows 11.
Yeah, I'm on Windows.
When you do Control Alt Delete and go to
Hmm.
the task manager, do you have the end task option?
Yeah.
Well, I read an article today that the latest update to Windows, they did away with the end task, and you need to go to the system and
Oh, shutdown process?
no end task,
Mm.
Yeah.
Wait,
and
I
go
use that all
to
the time. Are you saying it's gone?
yeah, I know. I mean, I'm just saying I read that, and they say
Hmm.
you need to go to the system and for developers. And
Yeah.
in for developers, there is the end task thing, and you have to turn it on.
Mm.
I don't know.
Why
I
would
mean,
they
it might
change
be a
that?
new default. I can tell you from the Windows 11 that I've installed, I've already done end task, so it's
Okay,
there.
so
But remember, I created it through the media creation tool, but I also think I went through updates already. So it might be in the next one. Maybe it's in the preview. And yeah, I like I like it that they are so confident that you will not need to use it. But
yeah,
yeah,
Well,
I think telemetry will tell them differently.
well,
yeah.
especially if you're trying to use older apps that,
I don't think it matters if it's older app or not. It's
but I
if
mean,
it's a
just
crappy app, it's a crappy app.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter
yeah,
if
but
it's old or
still,
not.
depending on how far back you go, I'm running some stuff that was Windows 8. Still works, but buggy, and sometimes you have to go back and there were no updates for it.
Well, I
uh,
mean, one thing is for sure, right? You can always either install from Microsoft themselves the Process Explorer, which will probably give you that, And there is another tool that is very similar to Process Explorer, a lot more expand. It used to be Process Hacker, but now it's called System Informer. It is
I
an open
heard that.
source tool. Yeah, it's an open source tool, and it provides a very, very robust view. I gotta say, it's still buggy. They shifted to an open source model a bunch of years ago, but somehow it's not as stable as it used to be. So I can tell you at times I need to kill it. Otherwise, my system is like really, really crawling. So I use it sporadically instead of constantly like I used to use previous tools. But it still provides a lot more information about your system that is useful. So, and you can search through it and stuff like that about what's running up right now. So I think that's a very good tool to have in your toolbox.
All right. I was
So
looking. Go
by
ahead.
by the fact that it says informer, it means you're ratting out other people.
Well, it used to be Process Hacker, and the real problem is they changed the name is because Process Hacker would be flagged by
Oh yeah.
security software just by its name. And this was one of the tools that like every IT person would want on their system. And once a company starts to become enterprise level, oh, no, we can't have a hacker stuff tool in the toolbox, right? And stuff like that. So they changed it to System Informer.
All right, let's switch. Google unveiled the new Google TV streamer. A $99.99, $100 set-top box replacing the Chromecast. The device, shipping September 24, boasts improved performance with a 22% faster processor over its predecessor, doubled RAM, and 32 gig storage. It integrates Thread and Matter for smart home control, featuring a side panel accessible via the remote. It has a remote. The streamer supports Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, and includes an Ethernet port. Design changes include the low profile form factor in 2 colors and a redesigned remote with a finder function. Software enhancements use Gemini AI for content summaries and custom screensavers. And Google says it's ending production of Chromecast after 11 years of selling the streaming dongles.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's got Roku.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a little bit late.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to be late here, too. They are in that market. They're just shifting. Yeah, good luck
Yeah.
for them.
Well,
I like Chromecast just because of the ease of casting from other devices, which was nice. It would show up on a lot of just show up on a device. You want to click on cast, and it would be one of the options, which is nice. I have the original one. It still works. Cast.
Yeah, but that still works with almost everything else. What
Yeah.
they did with that is they made sure so because it was popular is they found a way to embed this in other manufacturers' products, right?
Yeah.
So they're already benefiting from it. It's not like they're losing a market here. Yeah.
Although I see more devices supporting Apple streaming, which is proprietary and not compatible with Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that that falls on deaf ears everywhere outside of the US, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are using Apple devices outside of the US, but they might be using their phone, but they wouldn't have a Mac, for example, right? So it's not like everybody's, tied into the Apple ecosystem as they are in the US. In the US, the Apple ecosystem is strong. It's like solid, right? Uh, but I think when you step out of the U.S., then most home households will look more like me, where there's not a single Apple device at home. So yeah,
Yeah. All right. Get ready. Netflix is going to raise prices again this coming December.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. They need to make more money.
How much is it
Yeah.
going up this time?
They don't say it. Yes.
Why don't they just raise it to $100 a month so they can
Yeah.
decrease
have
it.
it's like
No,
the
and
old,
then next month is good news. We're reducing the price.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only
And
streaming service to reduce the price.
Katie, this is something I don't know if you know, but this probably do. Members of the Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, are striking against the video game industry due to failed negotiations over AI-related worker protections. The guild began striking on Friday, July 26, preventing over 160,000 members from taking new video game projects and impeding games already in development from the biggest publishers to the smallest indie studios.
This is what they had the strike in Hollywood just recently. I don't know, was it last year
That
or
was
the beginning of this
that
year?
was a writer's strike.
Yeah, but
No,
a
there was
big
an actor's strike as well.
Yeah.
the big chunk of it though was AI. And it was one of those things where people were getting replaced and not with not necessarily just not hired because of AI, but they were uh getting losing jobs on likeness. So like for instance, OpenAI or ChatGPT, they released a voice recognition thingy where like it would talk to you and it sounded like Scarlett Johansson. But Scarlett Johansson didn't do that. She didn't go like ways and like enter in a bunch of her voice commands and got paid for that work.
Yep.
And so a lot of movies and TV shows are doing likeness of people and instead of just actually hiring uh the actors, and the
Yeah,
game industry is going to go through the same thing. Yeah.
it's the intellectual property of your persona now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
one of the things I read too, talking about radio, is that there was a radio host that did it for like 25 some years, and then the station got an AI replacement for him, where he was still going to use his voice,
Hmm.
not old recordings, new stuff. But they fired him, they let him go, but they still want to use his voice, so they're having the AI recreate his voice and stuff. So he was like,
Yeah, but
Well,
did he get a deal out of it?
no,
Like,
that's the
no,
did
they
he
thing.
have a
fired him.
say?
No, they just fired him and they said, "Hey, we're replacing you with AI." And
Do they
Yeah, then
do
he'll
they
sue
claim
and he'll win.
yeah, but
That's my
that's
guess.
just an example of how these entertainment studios are
Yeah.
using AI. It's different than what we're talking about in the tech industry, where like AI is replacing jobs, or like we talk about that because they can do a task. It's in this instance with
Individually targeted.
entertainment. It's
Yeah.
individually targeted, where instead of paying Scarlett Johansson $1 million to do voiceover lines, they're just gonna program an AI bot to copy her.
Well, may I venture a guess though? I do
Yeah.
not think that this will go the same way as the movie industry though. So I do not think that this creates headlines now because it just happened. But my guess is the actors are actually going to lose here, and the way they're going to lose here is not by the fact that there are going to be rules written into contract that will allow that. That might actually they might actually get their way in the way the contract is written. What I think would happen is just these game studios will use non-actors, non-professional actors, or non-guild actors, right? Instead, they'll just create. So the video gaming industry, one, it is not, especially in the US, it is not concentrated in Hollywood like the film industry, right? Which is there's two huge focal points, which is New York and Los Angeles. Um, this is a completely different thing. This is a much more distributed effort, and it involves international efforts, right? You have game studios littered across the globe, and the biggest game studios are not necessarily Hollywood centric, right?
Right.
So the pool of actors from the SAG-AFTRA are not necessarily the only pool they are drinking from. So this is my guess: is these guilds, they do not necessarily have that hold on the gaming industry the way they have on Hollywood.
It's side money.
I think
Uh,
I
yeah.
think either way, really, I think they're just trying to protect themselves, like the
Oh, for
TV and
sure.
film industry. And it doesn't matter if it's AI, if it's whatever. Somebody, the business is always going to go for a cheaper alternative, unless they really
For sure.
want the actor to do the voice thing. But at the end of the day, they want it. They want the studios to play fair and to be like, hey, if you want my voice, you either pay my price or you find somebody else. But you're not gonna have a AI machine copy my voice and say
No,
that
they'll
it's like me.
no, they'll just cast somebody with a very similar voice and base the AI on them.
Yeah, and
I
which
Exactly
wonder
they can
like,
do in Hollywood too. They just
yeah.
can't be sleazy about it.
I wonder what the current contract law will be if you gave away the rights to your image for a specific movie that the studio owns. And they can say, well, you signed a contract saying we could use your character that you played in this movie belongs to us. So we can use your image, even though it's not with
Right.
your, that's going to be interesting.
You
So
know those
that's why
contracts
there's
are
the guild, right?
Yeah.
Because those contracts are not, so even if there is an entry in the one-to-one contract with that person, right? The guild contract can override that, because that means that you just had an oversight and they tried to trick you. Uh, you're supposed to have the guild approve, right, the contract, etc. So that's why it is a protection mechanism. But in Hollywood, they can't, like, they can't even start the movie, right, if the guild isn't on board.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In gaming, that's not the case. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of it's
So
not unionized.
exactly. And
It will
so
be.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, because the era where it grew, I am for a union to protect the worker. Okay. I know I'm bloody liberal, right? In that term, I do see the benefit of it. But the reality is that in the gaming industry, in the video gaming industry, I do not see that happening. I do not think the developers or the artists are unionized, and those are a lot more prevalent. They're a lot more important to the project than the actors themselves. Most video games, the voice acting, right? Even today, even when you say, "Oh, the voice acting was phenomenal in this," nobody really cares about who the voice actor was. It's more about the studio did a good job, right? And
Yeah, the
so,
gameplay.
yeah, it's the gameplay, it's the mechanism, it's the stuff, and unionization hasn't gone into there. And I don't think it will go into there either. It's different than when we were in the 50s and the 70s, where things were actually concentrated, right? You had that was the only way of actually communicating, through unionization, because those were the only points of power. But today, everything is distributed, right? There's no single point of power, not in the gaming side of the studios, and not in the workforce either.
Well,
So,
a lot of it too, to add to that, is that when it comes to movies, um, unless they make a completely cartoon movie or a CGI, people need to be in the movie. Like there's physical people are in the film, and with a
right,
video game, it's already CG or it's
exactly.
already artwork. So like the human face or the human live action is secondary. So like you said, it doesn't really matter what actor, whoever it is, because that's not the main draw. Like when they're making an Avengers movie and they say Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in it, that is why people will go see some of the movies. Is like the actors that they have in there. So the actors and the people have a really big sway. And that's why the things when like went union and stuff were like, hey, we're not going to do movies anymore. And they're like, oh gosh, okay, well we can't replace you with this because it's a movie and there needs to be humans in it or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, the video game industry is different. They don't have as much as a sway.
Oh,
And it is a larger industry. That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
getting it to unionize at this point, not so sure that'll work the same way you're expecting it.
I think they need to
That's all.
unionize the animated characters themselves.
Yeah.
I think what they need to do is they need to use an AI that will figure out how to unionize.
Yeah, right.
Just tell
All
me
right.
what I want to hear and leave me alone.
Have we seen any like lawyers suit against AI replacing lawyers?
No, but we have seen AI or lawyers use AI and it hasn't
Exactly.
worked.
And
Wasn't
it's not,
there?
it's not, it's hurting the legal, what do they
Yeah.
call the legal assistants? There's a term for them.
Paralegals.
Yeah, paralegals. It's hurting them because they're the ones that do all the grinding backbone work and a lot of writing and all that. And if they're using AI to help them, that's great, but it's going to eliminate jobs.
I thought there
Yeah.
was a case where AI replaced a lawyer to defend somebody, and the court said no, it cannot do that. I think it
Maybe
was in
somebody tried to use AI as maybe.
yeah. Anyway,
Be fun to do
Net-
a side by side, have an actual court case going on and have a mock one going along with it too to see which one would, how the AI would handle it.
I'm sure they're doing it. To
Remember
just
Back
say,
to the Future 2? The premise, right, where of the first scene is Doc he pulls up Marty to save his kids, right? And he shows him a paper of the next day. He's taking him 35 years to the future, and then he shows them a paper of the next day of when they took them, and he shows his kids going to prison after trial, after a 2 hours trial. And he says, "What's 2 hours?" He says, "Oh no, yeah, get rid of all the lawyers." Well, one of the acts they took 10 years ago, or something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
so-
all right, Netflix and Crunchyroll. I never heard Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll is an anime streaming service.
Okay. Titles leaked on Thursday with full episodes of shows released on social media, including the anticipated Heartstopper Season 3 and anime fare like Arcane and the Season 3 premiere of RE0. The leak was first reported internationally as fans spotted clips of unfinished footage, and Netflix is saying one of our post production partners has been compromised, and footage from several of our titles has unfortunately leaked online. And they said that our team is aggressively taking action to have it taken down.
It's good
Good luck.
advertising.
I'd say good luck.
Sometimes I don't believe some of these leaks because I know studios will do it on purpose to drum up interest.
Yeah.
'Cause if it's like
Well,
forbidden, people will watch.
they're talking about multiple series,
Yeah,
so I have a feeling that this time it's not an inside. It's not an inside leak, or if it was an inside leak, it's a retaliation. It's like
that's
very
true.
intentional to hurt.
But at the same time, though, it's like who cares?
I mean, what
so they
is
show the post production or pre production stuff. Like it's not the final stuff, so it's gonna look different anyways.
Heartstopper? Is that something that
I
anybody
think
knows?
it's an anime. So these are all animated series.
Well,
it sounds like.
then they leaked the whole season 3.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I thought you said you were talking about just like the pre and post production stuff, which is just
No,
unfinished.
the season 3. Including the anticipated Heartstopper season 3 and anime fare like Arcane and and then the season 3 premiere of RE0.
Oh,
It's not anime. British coming of age romantic comedy drama
Oh,
produced for Netflix.
oh.
So,
uh-oh,
yeah,
somebody's in trouble.
yeah.
Anyway, okay.
That's why
Now,
Netflix is raising their rates because they realize they're in trouble.
It's based on a webcomic. That's why.
Microsoft researchers said on Friday that Iran government tied hackers tried breaking into the account of a high ranking official on the U.S. presidential campaign in June, weeks after breaching the account of a county level U.S. official. And the same day, Spence, you're beginning to fade away. Spence, you're beginning to fade
He's in the
away.
swamp.
Oh, it's been happening. It's been happening.
And that's all
I'm
right.
not sure why. I'm not going to fix it.
No, it's fine. And then also on Saturday, the Trump campaign said they were hacked. And
It's a
they were,
hack.
hmm?
It's a hack.
It's a hack. Their system was hacked, and a lot of files were and dossiers and stuff like that were all stolen. So Iran is really
Could be. I
trying.
mean,
Yeah.
I've been watching a series. The series I think ended pre-pandemic. So it's a French series, The Bureau. Um, Basically, it's about their CIA and NSA, right? Something like that. Like it's a spy series. And one of the things they got right is the technical stuff, which is interesting, right? They did not overshoot. They did not create impossible technical solutions. They are very grounded and still very very scary, right? I think the only thing they are maybe embellishing is when they add some graphics, to the analysis of the process, and it's shown on a very nice big screen to explain to the Luddites, but it's the everything in the background is really solid. And the hacking stuff, it's interesting because, like what you said now, right? It's been detected in some way.
Huh?
Oh, your mic cut
Uh-oh.
out.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
It's the French. They shut them
We
down.
can't hear you. Wait, he's trying. No, God, we can't hear you. Um, what is it? Is this mic problem day?
Yeah, don't jinx it. I'll go down
Sounds like it.
next.
Ah, shh. No, we can't hear anything.
Suddenly.
Just break in when I mean, we'll tell you when it does work. Cisco will cut thousands of jobs in a second round of layoffs this year as the U.S. networking equipment maker shifts focus to higher growth areas, including cybersecurity and AI. So a bunch of people are going to lose their job. We still
I have
can't. We still can't hear.
neighbor who works for Cisco in their
Mm,
security division. He's very busy.
well, that's bad though. I mean, that's a lot of people.
Well, this past week was a bad week for layoffs. There were several large companies that laid off 10,000 plus people. Look it up,
Uh,
but tech companies, yeah.
yeah, I mean it's um major U.S. companies. That's for Katie mainly. Major U.S. companies are tightening eligibility requirements for student discounts, cracking down on graduates who continue to claim benefits years after leaving school. Amazon, Spotify, and other firms are partnering with verification services like Sheer ID to validate student status, ending
Yeah.
an era of lax enforcement that allowed many to exploit discounts long after graduations. Were you using any?
Not online because the thing is that you had to have a .edu email,
Oh,
and when I graduated school, my email got shut down like 6 months afterwards. Uh, but um, but I still used my physical card because I had my student ID, and
yeah.
like I remember I'd go to the movie theater and it was like student night or whatever. You just had to show your student ID. But yeah, now when I signed up with my new student ID, man, it was as complicated as going to the DMV. Like I had to take pictures of all my stuff and like send it to them, and I kept getting rejected, and I was literally taking screenshots of, me paying for tuition, showing my class schedule, showing like it was like I'm saying they wanted two forms of identification that had your school information on it, and I still didn't get accepted. It was for Spotify. And so I had to email their IT department, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And they're like, "Oh, you need this, that, and the other thing." I'm like, "That's what I sent." And so then I literally just like I just downloaded certain things, but then I just took screenshots of my whole screen. I was just like, I don't know what they want because I'm doing what they're saying, and then I think he just got annoyed and he just approved it. But it took me like a week, and I was like, what the heck? They wanted the receipt of tuition, so I gave them that, and apparently that wasn't enough. So I was like, dude, it's only to save like a couple bucks on Spotify a month. What is going on?
Interesting. I guess they're not ready for stuff like this, and they don't know what they're doing. That's all.
I can't
I don't
use
know.
my high school ID card anymore.
Yeah,
Kindergarten,
if you still have that, that'd be
I still have
impressive.
my
kindergarten.
Point Age Public Library card
Oh,
from
well,
1970s. I found my draft card the other day.
Draft card, like
Yeah.
drafted to the
draft.
military?
Oh yeah. I was in the lottery. I mean, I was the last group of the last numbers drawn for the lottery before they shut it down.
Wow.
1973.
So does that mean you served or
No, it means that my number was drawn. It was very low, but they didn't need anybody. They were in a period of getting rid of people from the military after the Vietnam War was ratcheting down.
wow.
So there was no I would have been called up had it been 2 years earlier. But
Well,
Um,
you dodged a bullet, literally.
well, it depends on what you go into, right?
Spence, do you have a security company? Like for your,
Security company. I have systems from both UMA and
no,
WISE.
no, service.
No, I don't
Okay. How
I
about
don't have a
Katie? You do,
monitoring
right?
A security service?
Alarm.
I use Ring.
monitoring.
Yeah, Ring.
No CPI, no ADT.
No. I mean, if any bad guys are listening, yes, I have everything. So
Okay.
don't come to my house.
Well,
I have guard dogs
the
stationed
the thing
four
is,
I have a
seven
guard
outside my
cat.
house.
He's sleeping.
ADT is one of the big guys. ADT confirmed this week that it was recently hacked, compromising some customer data.
Oh,
The home security company did not say when the cyber attack and data breach occurred, but disclosed that the attackers accessed the company's database containing customer home addresses, email addresses, and phone numbers. In a brief regulatory filing published late Wednesday, ADT said it has no reason to believe the customer home security systems were compromised during the incident. But
we
ADT did not say how it reached that conclusion. The
it's
statement said, wait, Smith, a small percentage of customers are affected, but did not provide a more specific number as of June 2024.
yeah, it's
ADT
like
said it
we
had.
just signed up for what is it? Ticketmaster had their breach. And
Yeah.
we just, well, Pam and I had bought tickets on Ticketmaster, so we signed up for their monitoring service. It was 2 years ago.
Oh,
So That's what it's the legalese in their statement that tries to they say what they have to say. And
Absolutely. It's whatever the lawyers say. But I mean, why would you break into their system if not to get information about the customers? Lenovo's. How about can we hear Gal? Gal, are you? Gal, can you hear us? It's not.
It's like he's still working
apparently
on it.
not.
Yeah. Lenovo's widely used ThinkPad laptop hasn't changed much over the years. Corporate technology leaders say that that's why they love it. There's a lot to be said for familiarity and the consistent experience, said Ace Hardware Chief Information Officer Rick Williams, whose company uses about 4,000 ThinkPads. The ThinkPad brand of personal computers originally created by who?
IBM.
Katie? Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
by
Well, I don't
IBM.
know.
Hit the market in 1992 before Lenovo acquired it, along with IBM's PC division in 2005. Since then, the boxy design, originally inspired by the Japanese bento box, has gotten thinner and lighter, but not much else has changed from the design perspective. I don't have any. I haven't had my hands on a new Lenovo, but do they still have the red button, the red stick in the middle,
Mine
that
does.
joystick?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Really? Wow, interesting.
I just recommended somebody asked me, called me to say, I'm going to buy a new laptop. What do you recommend? I said, Lenovo.
I mean,
It worked out.
Lenovo is a good, even though it's Chinese now.
Yep.
It's a good machine.
I've been using ThinkPads from when they first came out. And I knew people in PC development at IBM that developed the ThinkPad. And the Butterfly, remember the Butterfly,
Mhm.
Amnon? Where the keyboard would open up.
Yep.
I actually met that. I was sitting on a plane in first class one time, flying somewhere with the guy who designed the
The
keyboard.
thing. Wow.
It was cool to talk to him or just picking his brain. It was a lot of fun.
The red dot is still there.
What was the problem, guys?
Um, I had to
Restart?
because I
No.
didn't want to reboot, so I had to unplug the driver, swap the driver from the memory. That this way I don't need to reboot. I use something called the Ghostbusters. It's an old app that actually still works. Grab the driver, then plug it in, then it got back, but
You got
I
the
had
new.
no idea why.
It was the
It's
French intelligence services. They shut you down.
it's something to do with my USB connection. When the wire moves a bit, there's disconnects, but usually just a refresh like of the application that monitors the microphone works. Um, this time it didn't work. Anyway,
Ah,
was anything that I was saying important and interesting? Should I continue
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
let's?
we only
Right.
missed about a minute of what you were talking about.
So the stuff about the hacking was interesting in the show because first it's represented pretty solid, but also is those who actually detect the hack, right, are very few and apart in the world. So the competency needs to be very high. The alertness needs to be extremely high.
Sure.
And so just having what was it, a campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
That got hacked. So just having that campaign, which is a project that comes up for what, 3 to 6 months at its peak, and before that, it starts maybe 8 months before it reaches the end, right? And then it's scrubbed.
Hmm.
Then the campaign goes away. Even if, especially if they won, right? And if they lost, even if they are planning on running again, that'll be what, 2 years, 2 to 4 years later, right? And
Yeah.
so that means at least a year of not doing anything and scrub. So everything is scrubbed and started from scratch. In order, it took me a I'm sorry, I'm not bragging, but I look at myself as a very competent technical person when it comes to PC. To install a PC yesterday, it took me about a day, right?
Hmm.
Now, yes, I'm not doing it every day, so I'm guessing if I would have done it every day, it would have taken me 2 to 4 hours after I've um, uh, 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 meticulously built an automated process for it. The people who invest that time of money in infrastructure and building automation and all that, right? They are not the common they're not the common engineers in the field. So those who actually care about all of the details and understand where all of the ins and outs go through, there are very few and apart. And so that's why if somebody already hacked you, and let's say that hacker is not necessarily one who actually knows everything he does. He uses a lot of tools that do stuff for him without understanding them, okay? Which is what most of the hacks are. Those will be detected quicker, but if somebody actually knows what he's doing, that won't be detected for a long time. And that's the thing. That's the thing about all of these breaches that I think it isn't seeping in to the main consciousness of the mainstream is this the reason we're hearing more and more and more about it is not because people are getting better at detecting it, it's because it's just happening a lot more,
Yeah.
and it used to happen all the time, and now it's happening all the time and we just know about it, right?
Yeah.
And so if every time you mention a breach, right, our reaction here is no surprise, right? Not surprising in any way.
But the
It's
only ones that get attention right away are the ones that affect everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Now,
the
I wanna go back to the first breach or the next breach you called because I
Yeah.
was out. The ADT one.
Yeah.
They are only, I think, they said usernames, right?
Oh no, they
User
got
account owners and addresses, right? That's what they said.
yeah. The
I think they are
addresses,
by
home
law.
address.
If those were exposed by law, they need to say that, right? If there was SSN and phone numbers, they would say that as well.
They were no.
But
They
there's
say
something by law that is probably not needed because it's not part of law because it's not exactly a password. Where the safe words leak, I think that is the
yeah.
most important part, right, of anything in an ADT contract,
yeah.
right? And they are, I don't think that they are by law even. They might need to tell it to the FBI. I'm not sure. I'm not sure they need to publicly say. And that is the biggest question. And it doesn't matter how they whitewash it or how they brush it off and say, we don't think anybody has been
Yeah.
too much exposed, right? It's, was that piece of information exposed? That's what I want to know. And
Yeah.
if you did not say specifically that wasn't exposed, then that was the
Then
way I
people
see it,
should
that was exposed.
change their safe word.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like they need to change their safety protocols with ADT immediately, right?
Yeah. And for those of you that don't understand what is a safe word, it's when you forget to turn it off when you come in because you have bags in your hands and somebody's on the speaker from the monitoring companies talking to you. And first of all, they want to know the safe word to make sure that you are okay. There's the
And there's a
safe word,
set of
and there,
safe words.
yeah,
There
there,
is a set of safe
right.
words.
There's
There is
one,
one for everything is okay. This is just a mistake.
right.
And there is one everything needs to seem to be okay because somebody is
Yeah.
threatening me. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
With that, I need to take off. I've got a
All right, Spence.
deadline flying out today at 6.
Have a safe trip and
Yes,
enjoy it.
I'll be in touch. I'm going to have Starlink internet the whole time, so
Nice.
I'll be
You mean
I'll
you're not
be
going to use
connected.
the low orbit Iranian
Yeah.
new
Oh yeah.
network that
Yeah.
blew up in
Yeah. Well, it blew
space?
up, and then I'm going to be dead in the water. Yeah, it'd be interesting. But the
Uh,
Starlink stuff has been fabulous
yeah.
on ships.
All
Really
right.
works good. All right. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Be safe. And remember last week we talked about Logitech doing some kind of a subscription mouse? Well, they're saying that it was just a thought, that it wasn't really something that they were talking about it in a meeting. It wasn't for
Sure.
real. Now, Disney Plus, do you still have it, Katie?
No.
No.
Too
Disney
expensive.
Plus will soon no longer let you share your password with people outside your household.
Whoa.
During an earning call on Wednesday, Disney CEO said the crackdown will kick off in earnest this September. The timeline for Disney's password sharing crackdown has been a bit confusing so far. In February, Disney announced plans to roll out paid sharing and also began notifying users about the change. It then launched paid sharing in a few countries in June, but provided no information on when it would reach the US. So, just like Netflix sharing passwords, now they're going to do it in
One
earnest. They said for
one
real.
company starts it, and then the rest follow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it's fine. They're a business, and um, Katie, this is for you.
Mm.
Before WordPerfect, you know what that is?
No.
Oh, never mind. The most popular word processor was
Word
Word
processor.
Perfect back here in the States. Spark Plus? No.
no.
No. What was before Word Perfect? In Israel, there were a bunch of others because Hebrew was the big thing. So
Wait, what's a
Word.
word processor? Like
Word.
typing up
Word,
Like Word.
Word.
Oh, okay.
What Word is today?
Word Star.
Ah.
Word Star. Was that before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now the last ever
Word
DOS
Star are
version.
Germans, right?
What?
It's a German software, no?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I never thought of it. I know I had it on all the computers that I had back then. So WordStar. The last ever DOS, it was a DOS version. It wasn't a Windows version.
Yeah.
Has been bundled and set free by one of its biggest fans. WordStar 7.0D was the last ever DOS release of the classic word processor, and it still has admirers today. A notable enthusiast is Canadian writer Robert Sawyer, who wrote the book that became the TV series Flash Forward.
Flash Forward was a good one.
Well,
A short one, but a very
so you can
interesting one.
run it on Windows now. You can download it. It's about, they say, 680 megabytes and install it, and you have WordPress.
680 what?
Megabytes.
No way.
Yeah.
Sounds wrong.
I
Oh
don't know.
wait, the latest stable release
Wait,
was
wait.
1999.
That includes all the manuals and
Still, something feels off.
huh?
If we're talking about the DOS era
Yeah,
word processor, right? It came on a diskette.
it came
So
on about eight
in
of
the
them.
90s, it
Eight,
started in
five and a
78.
quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, no way, no way.
I don't know.
It didn't come on 8 in the 80s. It came on 8 maybe in the 90s, maybe.
That's what it was. I don't know what happens when they have to compile it to run on Windows. What else is added
Yeah,
to
interesting.
it? I don't know. But yeah, 680 megabytes.
Probably including the emulator and all that.
Everything.
Yeah.
And the last
But
thing I have,
what
what?
is the status of the license? That's what's interesting.
Well, I
So
think
first of all, I was wrong. WordStar is a California-based
okay,
something Micro Pro International. They're a
Micro Pro.
California-based.
I remember
Yeah,
Micro Pro.
they're California-based. The reason I was mixed up, it was Star Office,
Oh
which later
yeah, that
became
was.
so the current incarnation of both Open Office and LibreOffice
Hmm.
are based on Star Office, which was a German outfit trying to compete with Microsoft. So, but yeah, I did not know about WordStar at all. I don't think we've ever
Yeah, I think
encountered it.
WordStar started with CPM
Yeah, it
before.
says so in the Wikipedia page. CPM 80,
Yeah,
and later for MS DOS.
right.
Yeah. Rob Barnaby was the sole author of the early version.
Huh?
Remember when software was done by a single person?
And single person that did it good, not
It's
just
not that
sing.
that he did everything. So there was no. So even today you have right. You have independent programmers. You see them all over GitHub, right?
Yeah,
Uh, but they're using libraries written by others, right? And basically every piece of software today is a collaborative effort, right?
right.
Uh, Even if you do not know who you collaborated with, you're still borrowing heavily from work of others. And when you're talking about, first of all, when you're talking about an assembly program, you are not borrowing anything except the what the CPU knows to do, and you're just instructing the CPU. If you go one step above and you talk about C, right, or C++, then you are mostly talking about one, the very, very low level hardware level, very similar to assembly, plus the standard libraries that are coming with it. And those
Hmm.
standard libraries have been there in their form of one way or another, right? Since the 70s, they've been built up. And yes, there are collaborative effort, but they are very, very basic. So back in the 80s, if somebody 78, right? It says 46 years ago, 78 was the first initial release. Somebody who wrote software then that actually functioned everything. He wrote how the cursor moves. He wrote, uh, other than displaying letters on the screen, which was part of what the CPU and the video card did for you, right? Every single detail of that was programmed by that person,
Yeah.
and that is a fit. That is a very very impressive one.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
All right. It's time. Anything, Katie? Do you have any reports?
Nothing crazy. I forced myself to relax last weekend as much as I could because I've been going nonstop for like 3 months. I was gonna have a mental breakdown. So, but I'm still doing my 3D printing, and I've got new designs that I need to work on for the holiday season, but nothing
Huh?
new.
Nice. Yep.
So
Yep.
when should I put in my order for a fairy type story bookcase?
For you, I'll make time. Yeah, I have been working on book ends instead of book nooks. The difference being that book ends support books and they go at the end of a book,
Right.
where a book nook has no support. It's just cool and pretty, and you put it in between books so the books hold it up. But a
Take
lot of people,
space.
yeah, a lot of people want book ends, and so
Mhm.
I've been working. I got a dragon one worked out, so I can add a fairy one to that.
Do you have enough in the material that you're using? Because a book end will always be L shaped.
Yeah,
So is the material tough enough to hold the, because a book end, right, holds
A bunch
so
of
many,
books.
a bunch of
Yeah.
books,
yeah.
usually very
Well,
very
well, so there's there's a misconception here that really what you need to do is stabilize the first couple books that lean against a book end, and then the rest
Right.
of the books will naturally fall in line. Because unless you want your books to be at a 45-degree angle and then it has to hold up all those books,
Right.
you really just need to add extra support to the books that are touching the bookend, and then they're the ones that hold up the rest of them. Because a
Agreed.
book
But there's still a lot of pressure at the bottom.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard plastic. So the thing that the hard plastic flat part isn't where it would break. It would break at the joint.
Right.
And in but unless the book weighs like over 100 pounds, it's not gonna break it.
Katie,
Knock on wood.
how when it prints it, the
Yeah.
bookend, how is it laying on the table? Is it
Well, okay,
is
hold on a
it
second.
building
Let
it
me
is it building it when it's really standing up like it would be at the end of
Yeah.
the shelf, so
Yeah, I
it builds
printed
it up
standing
and
up.
up and up and up and
Yeah.
up and up? Oh, because
Yeah.
I was thinking it'd be nice if you could put, like an
I'll go get one. Hold on. I'll talk so the camera's not focused on me.
Wait, no, I
So
think we need to end. We can talk about it later.
okay, then we'll talk about in the background and maybe speak about it next week. I just
Okay.
like
No, I
the
mean, we can
detail that goes into something as simple as a bookend.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of thought behind it, and I really like that design. Uh, focusing on the design choices. That's why. But yeah, we can talk about it next week.
No, hold on. Thanks, Gal. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, no problem.
And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Dana, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner, and change, excuse me, same passwords where you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And Nick and Brian do the infection podcast every week about survival games and gaming news with a little bit of politics. Just go to infectionpodcast.com and see when is the live show coming up in the week, because it's different days. Or you can download the last podcast from the site and listen to it. Have a great week, and we'll be back together next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.